podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
First there was the original.
I thought it might be nice for kids. Keep them off the street, you know.
Then the basic.
This is a simple game.
Then the first version of the advanced.
Good, clean, wholesome fun.
Now the hammer comes down. Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn second edition AD&D podcast ever.
Hello there, it is Splatbook number 23 of THACO's Hammer, the 2E show, your favorite 2E show. I'm DM Glen. I'm here with DM Full On Gamer.
Absolutely, full-on gamer, here in the flesh.
Right. And from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Wow. Mm-hmm. Now, all you guys in Colorado, y'all gonna knock on his door if you want to play. Come on, you know. I mean, he's hurting here.
Gamer Nation, I want to get my game on.
That's right. And he's a military guy, and he's a real nice guy. And we also got DM Brian here, of course.
Greetings from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah. It's within spitting distance of Motor City, USA.
Yeah. If I get on the Interstate 94, I could probably hit it with a rock. Well, if somebody put a giant strength spell on me first, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of people would like to do that.
A
Okay.
lot of people have done it. What are you talking?
That's true. All right, let's go into hits and crits then.
What do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Oh, we ought to do something at Saturday night. I don't want to go bowling like last Saturday. Oh, what do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits with that lovely bumper everybody loves. So, today, Brian,
Yes.
what have you been doing this week?
Still messing around with the Core Rules software.
Haven't you got it right yet?
Oh, I've got it right. It's just, just converting characters from the written character sheet that have been sitting in a folder in a bookshelf for, I want to say, at least 10 years. Mm-hmm. If in this particular case we're talking 26 years. It's a little bit slow going because the software, as I've said before, is a little limited in some things. But once you get done with most of the things you want to put into the character, then you can print it out, or not print it out, put it as save it as an RTF file, and then you can just edit it manually. So
right.
It's a little slow going, but it keeps my mind occupied, which is a good.
I think I saw somebody on, I think it was Purple Worm, saying the Core Rules 2.0 kind of works.
Oh yeah, because he was trying to use it in Linux. He was trying to adapt it to Linux.
the pain.
It works fine. But again, it's not the kind of thing you want to try to be hotboxing next to your DM screen while you're running a game. It's good to use for prep, good to use for setup, good to use to put together fast encounters that have names and stuff like that, so that you don't get caught doing the DM in the headlights look. What?
What?
That's true.
His name is yeah. Been there.
I did find. Oh, go ahead. Hold on.
I was going to say I've had characters come up with Viviz. That was the name because I've Viviz, and then I found a way to spell it.
That's why you have to download my document 101 names.
Oh, there's a shameless plug.
Yeah, there you go. You find that on. Yes.
If you're using Core Rules 2.0, you can go to the library and download my fix for Core Rules 2.0 and actually have drow encounters that work. And aren't lawful good elves.
Ah, good. And you find both of these where? osrgaming.org.
That's correct.
In the library subforum.
I'm going to go there right now.
No, you're not. You're doing the show.
I can do both.
Yeah, well, then I'm going to Disneyland. Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
You already went there. Hush.
In my mind. Yeah, shameless plug. I've already got Thorky using those 101 names to much to good Mike's chagrin.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, those are good, that's a good source for quick names, dirty names on the fly. Should I even say dirty names? I'm sorry.
Depends on the book I grabbed to do a page flip and point and say, that's the name.
I mean, one of the best fast and dirty ways as a player I ever found to find names is just go in your local phone book.
That'll work.
I created a Shadowrun character just out of the name that I found.
I forget if it's somebody compiled these or I did it myself, but a lot of people like to compile them from the spam they get. From.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It is. It is. So, Folon, what have you been doing this week?
All I did was work on my computers, updating all of the mapping software. I did a full reinstall of the Core Rules 2.0 expansion, the Campaign Cartographer 2, Fractal Terrains, Dungeon Designer 2, and I've still got to follow up with the Forgotten Realms Atlas.
So you haven't been doing anything.
Hey, I got to do redeployment paperwork. I've been busy.
Okay.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Did you install it directly onto your system, or did you use a third-party program to put an ISO, just to load it from an ISO file?
Installing it full boat onto the system, not off of ISOs. Although I'm tempted to do that for the Core Rules disc so that I don't need to have the discs present.
Yeah, that's the reason why I did it.
That's me too. Yeah.
I'd like to not have to travel. I like to bring discs with me, especially when I deploy, in case I need to reinstall for backup. But I don't want to have to use them regularly. I'd like to keep them protected.
Oh, I hear
sometimes
that.
Not traveling with them is the best way to protect them.
That's true. That's true.
I agree.
Well, both of you have been busy boys. That's good. Me, well, I feel like a piker.
Don't feel so bad.
Well, just reading up on game books and stuff. Not much on gaming. Got some stuff floating out in my head for maybe a Skype game down the pike. Maybe, say a month or so. I guess I can get my new PC by then.
I'm gonna try, Glenn.
I know. I'm not coming down on you.
I know.
I gave my DVD collection a little bit more love and attention this week.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's why. I'm glad I already did the prep for the show, because today was like a total loss. Yesterday at Sam's Club, I found the old Jim Hutton, Ellery Queen mysteries.
Oh, I remember those.
All 22 episodes plus the pilot show.
Awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, I remember those, and I just loved those. And it's like, I'm not getting out of the living room. Which one of these can I inflict on my plate? I mean, I'm just going to... I can't do anything anymore without thinking about stuff like that.
Well, that's just being a good DM.
Yeah, look, there's a dog walking across the street. How can I work that into the campaign?
Well, you see, the dog is limping. Looks like it hasn't eaten in a couple of weeks. Looking really, really pitiful. What do you do? Then you find out later that puppy's a gold dragon that was testing you.
Oh, I thought we were in a Sergio Leone film.
Spy versus spy? Anyone? But anyway.
Anyway, that's about...
polymorph, succubi polymorph into a lot more things than hot chicks.
That's true.
Just hot chicks work best.
Like little kids in genie outfits. Anyway.
Let's not go there. I'm surprised that episode made it past the censors. Let's just let that dog lie, so to speak.
The one that's walking across the street.
Yeah, it just fell over. Let's just leave it there.
All right, let's go to option package.
My personality undergoes a startling change.
You know, you should meet me because I'm a great guy.
I like big fat men like you. When they fall, they make more noise. And sometimes they never get up.
Option package.
Option package. By the way, we haven't said it before, but this is a Paladin show, folks.
Yes.
We got you hooked in now, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be doing right now in option package the complete Paladin's Handbook.
Yes, indeed.
TSR number, because I don't have the book in front of me.
Complete Paladin's Handbook is 2147.
Thank you, sir. Published in 1984 by Rick Swan.
Yep.
And edited by Alan Varney.
Yep.
Very nice. With the usual bunch of TSR idiots. So.
Yep. And contributors and so forth.
And so forth. Yes,
Excellent
I know.
art.
But I mean, I always, I say that in a loving way.
Of course you do.
This is a somewhat controversial splat book, but will give you everything you need to know about Paladins in 2nd edition.
I would say so. The Paladin is, let's just say, the class itself dating back to 1st edition is something of a point of contention, due to, let's see, how the DM runs the class and how the player plays the class.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
any one of which can be source of campaign crash.
Yes. And the root cause of physical altercations at the gaming table.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is like all the other splat books, are really packed with information, but yet some people say, oh, this is the lamest one. There isn't anything here that I need.
They're Paladins. They're pretty much, other than a couple, well, here you get 15 different flavors of Paladin.
That's true.
But that's still like asking for 15 different flavors of vanilla.
Perhaps.
Maybe with a little bit of sprinkles on it, one way or the other. Little chocolate syrup.
Perhaps.
Get a little bit of Worm Slayer sauce on there, but it's still going to be a Paladin. It's not like the weird things that you could get out of, say, the Dragon magazines when they gave us not only the anti-Paladin, but the 7 other Paladins for other alignments.
Yes.
Are you saying that they've fallen a little short on this?
Well, I would think that in this they went for just one niche thing that was already a niche thing and gave you just a couple good different ways to do that niche, but they could have pulled out more of the stops and given more openness and options to it, but they redeemed themselves later on with the player's option books where you can.
Yeah.
Okay. But it seems like they took that one niche and just kind of tried to pry it open. And
it needed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many people who, let me finish my point.
Go ahead. Okay.
Just a lot of people just have this misconception about what a Paladin is and what a Paladin does and what a Paladin should do. And I mean, I've been on both sides of the screen where, as a DM, I've had players who want to play a Paladin, just this inflexible, always follows the rules. Now, you know what? A Paladin will follow the rules 99 times out of 100. It's true.
Yeah.
But there are also times where following the rules does more harm than going against the rules. I mean, they'll go against the rules if they have to, but it has to be pretty much there's no other option but to do this. And even then they'll probably spend a couple of weeks, in communion with their deity, saying, I didn't know what else to do. Please forgive me. Don't take my Paladin powers away. But with this book, it goes more in depth about, what a Paladin is, gives nice suggestions about how a player should run a Paladin, and then the kits are just the sprinkles on top, as Full On said.
And a lot of extra sauce from the GM standpoint of things to wrap around that Paladin and present to the player to give them things to have to deal with, whether it's courtly situations, political situations, the religious or faith or ethos backgrounds. They go into a whole lot of the noble side of things and the high fantasy type setting.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you there. So, but I also like the fact that they break down the Paladin. They thoroughly go through the fine-tooth comb the Paladin abilities. And it's just not words in a player's handbook.
Right. Yeah, they're just not rules for a player to follow, saying you want this class, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't do this.
Like here, laying on hands. Let's talk about laying on hands, and they just go on it.
Right.
And right, or a protection, and detect evil intent. I like that. It's not detect evil; it's detect evil intent.
No.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a clarification that I think had to happen.
Yeah. Otherwise, we got paladins running around trying to do no alignment on everybody.
Yeah, more or less.
A poor man's no alignment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way it works.
Yeah,
that's not the way it works.
Yeah, and that ability can be held up to abuse by the player. And,
yes.
And that causes DM player conflict, which is something to be avoided.
Yes.
It can also be abused by DMs who just say, well, he wasn't thinking of acting evil just because he happens to have a few hostages stowed away right now. Right now, he's headed over to the market to pick up some bacon.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's what what that person, the paladin's detecting, is intending at the time. I mean, they even have a chart in here for degrees of evil. Feint is like, a pickpocket in a market square or something like that, going to an overwhelming sense when you're up against like a great warm red dragon or a lich or something like that, and even they give the sensations about it. That was when the last time I actually ran a paladin in my game. That was, I leaned heavily on that little chart. When the paladin decided to sense for evil in something, I just said okay. And I thought about the situation for about 5 seconds. I said, "Okay, you have a nasty little headache right in your frontal lobes when you look at him."
Why a spoon? 'Cause it'll hurt more.
Your spidey sense is tingling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I all of a sudden I want to play a paladin. I want to play a chaotic neutral paladin.
I can grant
Rigger,
you that.
yo, that works. That rocks.
Actually,
walking along a path on the mountain path, all of a sudden, quick, get in this cave, everybody! Why? Those rocks were going to fall on us. They're evil. I felt their evil intent.
Oh, God. Seriously? Yeah, you would that. No. I know better than give you a chaotic neutral character, Glenn. I've only known you, for about 5 months, maybe, and I know better. Because I'm like, oh my God, this would just turn into like Benny Hill episode with yakety sax in the background.
I mean, they got campaign models in here about their faith, alternatives to churches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, guidelines for religious edicts, all that kind of stuff. But alternatives to churches. Okay, druids can have paladins.
Yeah, technically, yeah, I could see it, but to me. Yeah, that's just I'd have to think about.
Talk about faiths. This gets back to a bugaboo of mine.
Okay.
Because I know there are faiths based on something other than a manifestation of like a god.
Mm-hmm.
Like druids, they worship nature.
Yeah.
That's the prime example right there. Right. That is an ideal.
Yeah, but
I can't see paladin. I can't see them having paladins for it. Faith or love or saying your prayers at night. What?
I could see a paladin of magic. I could see a paladin of faith. I could see a paladin of love, especially one that was totally wrapped up into the courtly love thing.
I could see somebody following a god of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you see that goes back to the priest's handbook where they made faiths based on concepts rather than actual beings representing those concepts,
And if there's anything that's a paladin is good for, it's a concept, because his whole shtick is the concept of lawful good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you tie that to something else to give it flavor, lawful good love, lawful good magic, lawful good nature, whatever, it works for them.
Right.
It's just something to wrap your head around and give them that extra seasoning and that extra oomph and reason to be out there championing something, because that's what the paladin is. It's the holy warrior champion of insert subject.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easier, just because it's not something that the player and the DM have to wrap their heads around it to have the paladin worship a god who represents these certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I could see it. It just would be, I'd just be like, okay, to me, then the whole paladin class almost has to get restructured if it's, going off of a concept rather than a deity that represents the concept.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, I'm just looking at right now. I'm looking at the Paladins of Alignment rewrite I did years ago, where I turned them all into kits. And
I'm thinking that probably the biggest here's a controversial statement. Here's where the emails come in.
Okay.
I'm thinking one of the biggest statements that they did for AD&D, or when they introduced the Paladin concept, is saying you have to be lawful good.
Yeah.
Because if they can come up with paladins of every alignment,
yeah,
you're talking that dragon article Full-On was talking about.
Right.
That sort of blows the lawful good thing right out the window.
Well, yeah, you know what? It just, to me, it's like you shouldn't have to just be, so shoehorned into just the lawful good aspect of it. I mean, every alignment should have their holy champions, of said deity for this, concept or, whatever it is. And I never had a problem with it. I've gotten in some really bad arguments on Dragon's Foot about it because there are just some dyed-in-the-wool people who just want to say, no, then the paladin loses what's special about it. It's like, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
It stays special. It stays special and it opens up the opportunities for everyone to be special in their own way. Yeah. Because I know it's easier to go with just the extremes. Lawful good, chaotic evil.
Yep.
But you can also have your lawful evil or your chaotic good. That's the other two good extremes that are out there that are polar opposites, that are very much the niche that they sit in. The neutrals get a little hazier and gray.
Not really.
But then again, they would be. But again, they still have their own niche that's going to be the high kicker for that, whether it's chaos and law or good or evil. Right. They still have that as their benchmark, but your four primaries are going to be those four polar opposite definitive alignments.
Right.
And if you take it to its logical conclusion, if it was lockstep lawful good from the beginning and everybody played that, there wouldn't be any anti-paladins.
True. But you want to know what? That's the whole thing. When the Paladin came out, what's one of the first things that came out in Dragon Magazine about it? The anti-Paladin. Because the Paladin had to have a mortal foe.
Also known as a Death Knight, folks. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Well, Death Knight wasn't enough.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole thing is that the Death Knight was just, I hate to use it like this, but the Death Knight itself was just a quote-unquote monster. The anti-paladin was an actual being, just like the paladin that's trying he's mortally opposed to, and they'll try to kill each other on sight. But this way,
what's even more awesome?
What's that?
What?
Death Knights made from fallen anti-paladins.
Anti-paladins.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
How do you become a fallen anti-paladin? That's
well, you know what? Yeah, they get
a dead anti-paladin. Saying fallen is how much further can they fall?
Well, it's just varying degrees, like how, using a Star Wars metaphor, how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader.
Right.
He became, at the end, his anger and hate made him so strong that he stayed alive in a situation that would have killed almost anybody else. Mm-hmm. And then once he was reconstructed, and you see that scene in Revenge of the Sith where where you see him breathe on his own for the first time, and everybody in the theater gets chills running up their spine. That to me was like taking a mortal person who represented something and made him, and just made him stronger, and and just made him a more undying force for that side.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we got off track a little bit, but
a little bit.
Anyway, complete paladin.
How about demi-humans, non-human paladins?
I have no problem with it.
They cover that in here.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They also cover dual-classed paladins. That kind of blew me away.
Yeah. There's go ahead, full on.
Those gets highlighted in the fiction all the time. You've got those paladin monks and the paladin, paladin spies who are out there doing the holy good work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have to have their own information network.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
One of the other things is that just what I was about to say went out of my head. In the in the case of oh God, go ahead, Glenn. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to wrap it up here saying Complete Paladin's Handbook is, let's see, it's like I said, it's a controversial book. Some people, like Full On Gamer, says they didn't go far enough, and I'm a little bit inclined to agree with him. But at the same time, what they did put in there is pretty good.
They added a lot. They added a lot.
Yeah.
They added a lot to what was lacking, and like I said, they gave you a selection of condiments to add to your vanilla.
And you know what's funny is that article you talking about Dragon and Paladin for every alignment. I'm surprised they didn't put that in the book. I don't think a dragon.
Yeah, but I don't think they would have. I think they tried to keep these splat books to a certain number of pages.
No, but they did. I mean, they did that for a couple other splat books where they broke it down by alignment.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to recall the Book of Necromancers doing that.
Oh, well, yeah, but
that's books that aren't tied to an alignment. A paladin from the Player's Handbook is tied to his alignment.
Yes, very much so.
That's true. Okay, okay. Anyway, I think you'll find this book. This one is kind of a semi-common book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I went to Half Price the other day. I couldn't find a copy, but I've known I've seen copies there before and other places. And online, they run from about $12 to $20.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list on
eBay, Noble Knight, those kind of places.
Yep.
It's also one of the components of the expansion for the AD&D Core Rules 2.0. You get all the splat books.
Yeah, that's one of the big bonuses to having that. Yes,
that's right.
Your own personal and legal digital copy.
Yep.
Yes. So go out there and look forward if you're so inclined to play Paladins. All right, we got People Skills up next.
The face is familiar. It's mine. And so it is.
Oh, yes, of course. It stands out a mile, doesn't it? He's so common.
A little lady comes in here and starts throwing her butt around. What is that supposed to do?
All right, forget I said anything.
Maybe I will.
Well, that's pretty good.
Then don't tell me you weren't looking at it.
Well, that's not half bad.
She's giving it right back to you.
People Skills.
People Skills. Okay, we're going to do a little comparison here. The True Paladin, well, as close to a True Paladin as we get in 2nd edition anyway, versus the Chevalier, which is a kit in the Paladin's Handbook.
Right.
So the Paladin, Chevalier is like the Paladin's thug?
Well, the Chevalier is just more of the one who epitomizes honor, courage, and loyalty. They're actually modeled on the feudal knights of the Middle Ages. Going up and probably through the Crusades, perhaps.
These are the portions of your Paladin order. These are the portions of the Knights of the Round Table that are Paladins. Not all of them were.
Right.
Or it's the Knights Templar, or it's your Holy Rollers from your Game of Thrones.
Right.
Or it's your typical French knight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just want to speak in the French accent now then.
I didn't, did I?
No.
You will, or I will taunt you a second time.
He did.
See, I'm the host. I don't have to.
You wanted to. But,
maybe.
Yeah, okay. But
anyway, yeah, but whenever I think of something like a Chevalier, I think of like the Knight of Love, which makes me think, the French, that kind of thing. But any knight can do that anyway. So we've got the True Paladin, who's
the one out of the Player's Handbook.
Right. And then we have this guy who's like taking it 3 steps further.
Yeah, they're just more militarily. They go towards that end of it.
They're the officers.
Yes, in a standing army, they'd be the officers, the ones in charge of garrisons, and and so forth. In a lawful good land, I could see that.
Okay, and the True Paladin could be. Tell what?
You can tell a whole bunch about the Chevalier just by the requirements that are added to the Paladin on top of what they already have.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, let's see. You must be one of the following in addition to all of the standard paladin qualifications, which includes the fact that you already have 4 prerequisite stats you have to meet.
Right.
You must either be the son of a chevalier, nobleman, or aristocrat, or you must be wealthy enough to buy your way into paladinhood by turning over a valuable property or large treasure to your church or state.
The time-honored tradition of buying titles and favors. I like that.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Go watch Lady Hawk.
I
You
love
must
that
have an
movie.
ability score of 15 or more in strength, constitution, or wisdom.
Yep. On top of the 17 charisma that you need.
Aye.
Yeah, so paladins are the toughest class in AD&D to qualify for, which is why, just as an aside, if a player is gung-ho about playing a paladin and after, say 3 or 4 attempts at rolling one up legitimately and the dice aren't cooperating, I'll give it to him.
Okay.
They even give you a alternate method of generating stats in this book to generate qualified paladin stats.
Yep.
Wow.
That way you at least get something they have to roll for instead of picking or giving.
Yeah, like stuff like son of a Chevrolet, you have to, you can just Chevalier. A lot of players can hand wave that, and a lot of DMs hand wave that.
Yeah, I've
as a DM, if they want to say that, and they come up with a good, they got to come up with a good reason to me. It's okay, I'm the son of a Chevalier. Well, okay, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, my dad died in the war, blah, 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 which happened 50 years ago, and he's da-da-da-da-da.
Elf?
Okay.
You must be an elf.
Yeah.
Oh, now.
I said 50, and it's okay, you tied it to the world. All right, fine, you're a Chevalier. If you meet the requirements.
Yeah, that's one of those where the player has to do some justifying to get what he wants.
Yeah, that's where you squeeze them a little and make them work for it.
That's also where you stick all the rest of your plot hooks into them and you put them under the GM's control to keep them from going hog wild, because a lot of their restrictions are role play based.
Yeah.
So you tie them up with that. You put those virtues and oaths and sworn duties that they have to attend to, the chain of command that they're now bound to, which means that your campaign really better be looking a whole lot like Game of Thrones, where it's Royal House versus Royal House and all these other big, major, sweeping, epic things, rather than, and we're going to go dungeon crawl today.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, that Chevalier is not getting out of his duties to go dungeon crawling with his scruffy little buddies.
And God help the Chevalier if he says, I become a ladies' champion. God help him.
Yeah, well,
he'll never get any rest.
No, he won't.
No.
Especially if the lady that he has decided to dedicate himself to is a shrew,
or the weekly damsel in distress.
Yeah, the one who's always getting kidnapped. Yes.
Oh, now the dragon kidnapped her over here. Oh, the Black Knight kidnapped her over there. Oh man. At least I get to see the country.
Well,
that's where your min-maxer is going to step in and say, and part of my little ethos and restrictions, I'm going to take the vow of celibacy and.
Yes, and that's another thing that we didn't cover in our previous segment, is that they actually have codes of ennoblement in this book.
Yes.
Yeah, where as a DM, you can sit down with your player and you can say, okay, you want to be a paladin, sucker? Okay, you can't do this. You have to do this. You can't do that. You are bound by your faith to do this.
And it gets worse with the Chevalier.
Yes.
To me, I figured any Yahoo, I'll let any Yahoo play a paladin. Some play them better than others, and it's really a challenge to the player. But if they want to play a Chevalier, to me, that's where they separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, I would say so.
If you want to walk that extra mile, you go right ahead and see how far you get.
Yeah, you definitely have to have
I'm going to be riding these requirements pretty hard.
Yeah. These guys aren't the ones that turn into your not just your officers. These are the guys who are like, we are officers of the Royal Guard, the King's Guard.
Yep.
Talking military advisors.
Yes.
to the king, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And also on top of that, then as the Chevalier progresses in his career, he gains enemies from a rival state, and that's something the DM can play up, every which way but Sunday, and however many times he wants to.
Yeah, he may have an opposite number in the kingdom next door where they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's the one who's a paladin. The king, the royal in charge, is not necessarily a paladin. Nope. He could be doing all kinds of unpaladinly things and pissing off all kinds of neighbors and states and across the ocean, across the border, whatever, and it just all falls on top of the Chevalier to be in the way of.
Yep.
Yeah, the paladin's the officers, the Chevalier's like a bird colonel that has to deal with the mess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of those kits that you have to have the role playing chops to do it, to pull it off.
Now that we scared everybody away from the Chevalier, what are some of the bennies that you get over and above, say, a paladin with a Chevalier?
Well, the one thing is, just as much as the chain of command binds him, it also gives him advantages.
Right.
He just as he has to take orders from higher level Chevaliers, he can command lower level Chevaliers.
He can give orders in the name of the king, in the name of the liege.
Yes, he can, and he probably has that carte blanche, within that nation.
Okay, I pretty much understand the role playing bennies, but what about like mechanical? Anything? Yeah. Game wise?
No, that's kind of it. I mean, aside from they, of course, in a lawful, in the kingdom that he works in or any lawful good society, he can request sanctuary, in any stronghold of such a place. But I mean, other than that, he's a standard paladin.
As long as they've got diplomatic or political ties to your host kingdom.
Of course.
Here's a guy. Okay, this is the kind of character you toss to your biggest role player in your group.
Mm-hmm.
The best role player in your group, because he doesn't get much game wise, but there's a lot of role playing bennies in there.
Yes, there is.
And he'll play both the bennies and the restrictions.
Mm-hmm. And as well he should.
Yeah. As well he should, but I'm saying, this is not for little kids. This is not, don't try this at home, folks, type of thing.
We are professional role players. Do not try this in your own game.
Yeah, you hand them to the vets. You hand them to the people who know how to role play anything to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like me, for instance. No.
Well,
No,
you just failed your humility requirement, Glenn.
I know.
You can't be a paladin.
Well, I also know I wouldn't have as much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't. Like I said, it's got to be the biggest role player and the person who would have the most fun doing all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, see, the only problem is that a Chevalier would not be conducive to your average adventuring party who just goes through dungeons and the rescuing princesses. He could probably be on orders to, the princess being rescued is the king's daughter. So he goes with these adventurers to go rescue her and also to make sure her virtue remains intact.
Right.
And anybody who tries it gets his head separated from his shoulders.
Right.
If he's lucky.
If he's lucky, yeah. But
that's why
for the Chevalier to find a place in your campaign, you really have to have a campaign conducive to that being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're not going to be having Chevaliers present if you're trying to replicate the run through the mines of Moria, but you will have him there for the Clash of Crowns and type things, where it's a whole lot of state and political, hijinks.
Right.
Oh, he might be in the mines if he's trying to sneak up on him.
But that's when you brought the whole campaign up to a level of, and the states are at war.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Usually you don't find that in your average adventuring situation where, hey, we've discovered there's this lich thing this way, and there's this stronghold of pirates that way, and, unless he's starting to interfere with, interstate shipping and trade, you're not going to find the Chevalier on the quest
true.
to go fight the slavers or the pirates.
Right.
You'd find more a paladin or something, a regular, because paladins are more inclined to be a little more itinerant.
Yes, I see.
Lawful good and violent about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're the loose cannons. They're the specialists. I don't want to say mercenaries. They're far from it, but
well, they're the deities' shock troops. They're the ones who get sent somewhere to take care of a particular problem, and
they follow the holy calling regardless of the consequences. That's your jark.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
They take it to the ultimate conclusion.
Yep. That's why most paladins don't live to the age of 30. Most of them die in their mid-20s because they're always off fighting evil somewhere, and eventually, evil catches up at some point.
God, it was worse in first edition when you had the paladins that would start, cross-classing or saying, I want my paladin to be like the cavalier from the Unearthed Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
You take paladin plus cavalier to make a chevalier, and you have the guy who is going to volunteer to hold the breach while everyone else escapes.
Yep.
Who's going to say, to heck with the battle plan, there is the greatest evil. Right there, I see him, I'm going to him to fight him.
Yep, because that is his calling. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's part of being a paladin anyway, is to seek out the strongest combatant on the battlefield and engage him no matter what.
And the hardest thing to do in that case is I'm not going to say to play him intelligently, but being so straightforward and virtuous like that tends to...
Virtuous does not mean lawful stupid.
I know that, but it does tend to... People tend to think of a certain amount of naivete in their thinking. And to tell you the truth, it is. But, it should be virtue with smarts.
Yes, absolutely. That's like my biggest bugaboo about most of the people that I've seen play paladins. There are only two people in the in the 30 years I've been role playing, since the age of 12. In the 30 years I've been playing, I've only seen two people do it right.
Really?
And I'm not one of them. I can't make that kind of judgment because I don't have that kind of ego. But taking myself out of it, one person was someone who I decided who was going to play test my adaptations of the Paladins of Alignment. He chose a chaotic good one.
Okay.
And while we're talking about it, he said, even if you are lawful good, that doesn't mean you can't use tactics. That doesn't mean that you can't use, ambushes. It's all about the circumstances. Now, if you're all a bunch of 10th level characters and you're basically ambushing a 2-hit die creature, of course not. That would be cowardly. But, if you are in a situation where you are the underdogs and if you try to go head up against whatever you're going up against, you're going to get stomped. Of course, that's when you have to think tactically, and use guile and use your intelligence and your wisdom and try to come up with, situations to ensure the survival of everyone. So they can continue to fight evil.
Well, that's why I played that Paladin in the Night Below campaign as an old British campaigner. Because he'd been in the wars.
Yep.
And if we're going up against a bunch of ogres down there in the Underdark, we're not just going to go into... First of all, I'm going to find out if they're there. And if they are, we're going to sit down and we're going to plan this thing.
Right.
Because that's what we did in the army.
Mm-hmm.
That's you sit around. Now we take a frontal assault here. You have the magic, so you get on the side. We can get them in two things. That kind of thing.
Right.
That tactics.
Yes, tactics.
So the party member I had who was playing a paladin who forced the party into an open field at dawn charge against 9 mounted death knights was doing it wrong.
In a word, yes.
Good. We agree. That's why we cheated. The only way we survived that encounter.
Yeah, that's when you go James T. Kirk on those guys, because if you go right up against them, you're going to get your heads knocked off.
Right.
Right.
I mean, old soldiers become old soldiers for a reason.
Because they're very smart, very lucky, and in most cases, both.
Yes. Nobody I know goes into a war to die.
No. Maybe they get driven crazy while they're in the middle of it.
I don't know if you got like a bunch of Goths for ground troops, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
But they'd never obey their superior officers anyway.
Yeah, and their main attack would be whining anyway.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Anyway.
They could dual wield straight razors.
Yes.
Well said. Well said.
True Paladin, I want to hear about some Cavalier stories out there. You people tell us all about it at thacoshammer@gmail.com or osrgaming.org, purpleworm.org, and our number is
405-806-0555.
You can find us in any of those venues, drop us a line or put something on the board or even call us.
We can also find them on D20 Radio's forums. There are THACO Hammer posts there as well.
Yes, that's right. We have a new contact. Thank you, Falon.
New? Oh, yes. Him. Yeah,
well, it's new to me.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's go and do Loaded for Bear.
Bet you don't have a pair of these, Earthling.
And for the big critters, sometimes you got to bring out the nuclear weaponry.
Loaded for Bear.
For Bear.
Yes.
The standard equipment for the Paladin, the Holy Sword.
Right. Yes.
Which
Holy Avenger.
He doesn't get that right off the bat, does he?
Not only no, but hell no. I mean, it's one of those things where it's something that a paladin aspires to from first level. Yes, gathering intelligence is. I'll tell a small story. The second person who ran a paladin correctly was my ex-roommate, who I've spoken about in previous episodes. One of the best role players I've ever sat down at a gaming table with, bar none. And she took a neutral good elven paladin. That was something I wanted to talk about 2 segments ago, but no big deal. She took a neutral good elven paladin of Labalus Enerith, who is the elven god of knowledge and time and things like that. Mm-hmm. And one of the paladin's goals was to find out, just to get information of any kind and bring it back to his church. Ancient scrolls, ancient tomes,
ancient Chinese secrets,
anything that needed to be preserved. That's what what her paladin was supposed to retrieve.
Right.
So while she, through her adventuring career, I decided to drop some little hints about a neutral good holy avenger called the Crystal Star.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I have it fully written up somewhere. It's just stuff I came up with off the top of my head. I didn't consult any books. But once I started throwing these little clues at the paladin, and the player she's smart. She picked up on it. She's like, "Ooh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." So once she started picking up on these clues, she started, while they're adventuring and doing other things, she started looking for more clues. Asking around, asking, any wizard she could find about it, trying to gather information about it. I mean, when the game ended, she was about 7th level when the game ended. But I was fully intending on, leading her to where the Crystal Star was by the time she reached 10th.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you plotted out when she gets it. Not
oh, absolutely. I mean, I've yet to run in all the treasure troves I've rolled up. I've never rolled up a holy adventure legally or legitimately.
I've done it twice.
Really?
Yes. Tricky, but it happens.
Yes, it does. Well, yeah, it does happen. I mean, random numbers being what they are, it will come up eventually, but it just never has for me.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, yeah.
Usually, yes. It should be something that they intentionally quest for. If you're going to have paladins in your campaign, is eventually he's going to want his holy weapon. So you need to plan for it, have a place for it in your campaign, have an idea behind what it is, where it is, why it is, and what they're going to get out of finding it.
Yeah, or what they have to go through to find it.
Okay, I'm looking at page 39 of the Player's Handbook, the second printing black book.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here, under Paladin, a Paladin using a Holy Sword projects a circle of power 10 feet in diameter when the sword is unsheathed and held. This power dispels hostile magic and a level up to the Paladin's experience level.
Right.
It also goes on and says, a Holy Sword is a very special weapon. If your Paladin acquires one, the DM will explain its other powers. Other powers. Plot hook. Little back door that the DM can go, okay, what can I stuff in here?
Yeah, and I'm reading out of Encyclopedia Magica, which is, they take it straight from the DM's guide. In the hands of any other character than a paladin, it'll only be a sword +2. In the hands of a paladin, it will create a magic resistance of 50% in a 5-foot radius, and like you said, dispels magic in a radius and at the level of the level of paladin. Yes, and as a bonus, also inflicts +10 bonus points of damage against chaotic evil opponents. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're going down to the abyss, you want one of these.
Yeah, that will be really handy when we discuss the DM's rag today. Yeah, we'll talk a little about that.
Note something specific about this. I'm reading from the Complete Paladin's Handbook.
Yes.
Okay. Which has a whole page and a half dedicated to just the Holy Sword.
Yes.
It is not falling under the same categories as an aligned weapon, an aligned intelligent weapon from the DMG.
That's correct.
It is its own thing, which means this Holy Sword could be in the hand of some evil person.
Yes, it could.
Say someone who killed the last paladin who owned it.
Yep.
This is a plot hook that was used to good effect in the Goblins comic by Thunt, where it's the Axe of Prisan is the holy. It's a Holy Avenger axe,
which is cool.
Yeah, Holy Avenger doesn't have to be a sword.
No,
it's used to contain a demon, and in the hands of a paladin, boom, it's the Holy Avenger. But in the hands of others, it's something else.
Right.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, this is almost on artifact level.
Yeah, I'd say probably about a step below it. I mean, once the paladin has it, see, that's the whole thing, because this thing is just so ridiculously powerful that, I mean, an argument could be made that, you could probably go as high as probably 15th level before you give it to them. I mean, 10th level is to me, it's like the turning point for most character classes. I mean...
Well, you know what? I don't know if... I would give them it at maybe a little lower level, because I've heard so many people who say they never... Well, maybe I'm thinking of basic D&D again, but I hear a lot of people say, well, we like to play up to 8th or 9th, to name level, and then start over and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, that goes into where you need to consider that in the book, they give you the one example of the sword +5 Holy Avenger. But that isn't the only type.
Yep.
Not only is it not only a sword, but it doesn't have to be a +5 sword when it's acting as a Holy Avenger.
Yep.
You could dial it down.
Yes,
+3, +2, whatever. It just gets all the holy powers when it's empowered by the fact that the paladin is holding it.
Yep.
Right.
And that can help you for your lower level campaigns. It could be part of the whole ethos of that paladin order, where you quest, and by the time you reach 5th level, you should have discovered your +1 Holy Avenger. And when you quest for your +2, you have to turn in the +1.
Of course.
You have to trade.
It goes back to the order, so they can hand it out to the next paladin, paladin coming up, or something like that.
Absolutely.
Could be a whole...
It could also follow the Oriental Adventures model, where it starts as a +1 weapon, and as a legacy heirloom special powered weapon,
it scales
up. Gains its pluses as it levels up, as you earn the right for it to be the maximum Holy Avenger.
Yeah, what?
This is the samurai sword of my ancestors. Yes.
Yes. You know what? That to me, that is one of the best things, and I'm speaking, of course, I'm speaking about, that's one of the best things about 3rd edition, where they made that more or less part and parcel of the game, is that you had scalable magic weapons. One of my favorite weapons that I've ever gotten playing D&D was from 3rd edition. Actually, it was basically this ice sword. It did like a little bit of extra cold damage, but if you got a critical hit with it, basically the tip of the sword would break off in the enemy and inflict damage per round. And the damage would increase and the bonuses would increase as my character gained levels.
You made a Nazgul dagger into an ice sword.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest. And the funny part is, it's in a published module. I just don't know which one it is. But yeah, I mean, that's like one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen, and they needed more of those.
Okay, taking that into account, what stuff would you put into aside from the normal, like what it said, the aura and all that, dispel? What would you put in a knight's holy sword to make it different and unique? And keep in mind that we're talking about a paladin here, so that kind of hamstrings you to a certain extent.
Well,
you're not going to do a sword of pestilence for a lawful good paladin.
But if you did make it a magical intelligent weapon that was aligned and gave it the power to smite the diametrically opposed alignment, that would be the sword that would actually shoot lightning on somebody who tried to pick it up, who was of the wrong alignment.
Yep.
Okay.
Then you could see things like that happen. Or your classics, it could be a frost brand, it could be a flaming sword.
Yeah.
Or a Vorpal sword if you really wanted to go extreme.
Vampiric regeneration would be interesting.
Oh yeah, that actually would be probably the best thing
but I can't see a lawful good paladin taking a vampiric sword.
It's not evil. It's the magic is just named vampiric because what it does is the damage you do heals you. That's all it is. It's not like it's a restricted version of regeneration because you don't want to just stick rings of regeneration or sword of regeneration on people. I mean, even in the deities and demigods where they have the listing of King Arthur and his knights, Excalibur's sheath has the regeneration ability, not the sword. His sheath.
Yeah, as long as you have the sheath on, you could regenerate. It's true.
Okay, gotcha. So it's the vampiric in the sense that you're getting healed off the damage you do.
Right, but you see, with a holy sword, that would only be against a certain type. It wouldn't be against everybody. Yeah, like with a sword of life draining or something.
There's another example that you could do to really, if you have a problem with your guy learning how to be a paladin.
Yeah.
You could pull a note out of a classic sci-fi movie.
Which one?
Star Chaser: Legend of Orin. The sword that they had in that, the sword with no blade. He pulls it out. It has a blade. The blade disintegrates. So all you're left with is a hilt, and you get a Jedi ghost type thing speaking about you must quest to go find the hilt, or go find the blade for the hilt, and the blade is there when he's wielding against evil. It is not there if he, this guy jumped out. He surprised me. I'm going to swing at him. And he actually is a good guy. Well, you just embarrassed yourself by punching him with an empty hilt. Then you can turn around and smite the evil cyborgs from the swamp with him. No problem.
Yep.
Evil cyborgs from the swamp pick it up and look at it. There's no hilt there. And they swing it out and they accidentally chop each other apart with it because it's evil. And it's like it totally confuses the guy because the blade isn't there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It could basically be an extension of the actual paladin's, inner power against evil. The power that he's given through his faith.
There's one class of evil that I think all holy swords should deal with to a greater or lesser extent is undead.
I agree. Yeah, that was actually when I made the crystal star. That's what I was going to make it for. Was most of its power, even though it had considerable power against evil itself. When you went up against evil undead, that's when you got the full benefits.
That's right. Throw a lot of skeletons and zombies at you because they're neutral.
Yep. You don't start running into evil until you run into ghouls.
What if it's like the detect evil intent?
They don't have an intent. They're automatons.
Yeah, because they're not intelligent beings. They don't have intent.
Then you would go off the intent of the person controlling them?
Yeah, that's a little esoteric, but yeah.
I mean, if they're there's a lot of things that they do.
If their orders were to do something distinctly evil in and of itself, perhaps you could get a little residual fingerprint of the master's touch of evil upon them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm saying if you got a lich who's commanding some, what did you say, zombies?
Yeah.
And he goes and he points to them and go, kill them. Now, come.
That's no worse than loosing their dogs. Now, if that lich had said to his legion of skeletons and zombies, go raise that town to the ground. That would be your evil act.
That's your
just
evil
go
act,
fight them. Hey, that's just fight them. He could do that with dogs.
No, he didn't say fight. He said kill them. Is an evil.
Killing is not evil intent. Killing in battle is not evil intent.
Mm-hmm.
That's considered a battle.
Because,
I mean, yeah,
because paladins kill.
I mean, in a military sense.
In a military sense, it's not evil.
No, it's the orders.
No, I'm saying is that considered a battle in a military sense?
Well, it's
yeah. If your commanding officer points at that strong point or aggressive enemy and says, "Go get them, go kill them," that's your target.
Right.
That's your target. You're supposed to do that.
See, if a bad guy tells a bunch of skeletons, "Jump these guys," and then he goes away, and they jump us in an alley, that's a military battle?
Yeah.
It's just not being like mugged in an alley by a bunch of skeletons?
Well, if it was muggers would be greedy. Greedy is evil. They're trying to steal your stuff and kill you. If it's just a warding area of kill whoever comes in this alley, okay, they're going to kill whoever comes in the alley.
Well,
good, bad, indifferent, they don't care. That's the point of using intelligent bad guys with minions like skeletons and zombies that won't trip your paladin spider sense.
That's true. He's got a point. It basically what it comes down is it's not the command itself, but it's the intent behind the command. Now the lich could tell the tell his skeletons and zombies to attack the party even out of self-defense, even though the party's there because the lich has been doing something that warrants its destruction. Exactly. But even so, at that point, it's self-defense. It's like Full-On said. Now, if he had ordered those same undead to go and attack this town for,
I need you to go retrieve me every 8-month-old child.
Yes.
That would probably fall under the category of a big flaring, hey!
Big red flag right there.
Yeah, in my book, it certainly would.
And that's not even going to kill them. That's going to kidnap them.
Yeah, but that's still evil intent.
Exactly.
Okay. We're splitting hairs now.
Yes, we are.
Paladins, Holy Sword. Yes, I would like to see a lot of Holy Swords mainly deal with undead.
Right. Yeah. There's
or the other big giant THACO demon in the room. Lower planar creatures.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's basically.
Now you talk about detect evil intent.
Turn off your spidey sense because you're going to get a migraine. You're going to be you're going to be on your knees holding your head saying, make it stop. because going to hell, going to the abyss.
Boy, will your holy adventure have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Running into that polymorph succubus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is why they invest in a lot of rings of non-detection.
Yeah. Then there's that.
Yep. Obscure alignment, spells, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. To make things hard on the players. Yes.
Anyway, tell us about your holy sword stories. Give us some
other
suggestions
weapons.
and other weapons.
Holy battle axes, holy lance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and for Corey, is there a Holy Avenger ballista out there? Let us know.
They can shoot some evil guy in the forehead with.
Yeah.
Dual wielded by the storm giant paladins.
Yes.
Oh boy.
They're not talking their shamans into having the wand of chromatic orbs.
No, yes, exactly.
Yes. So tell us about it at THACOshammer@gmail.com, osrgaming.org, and all the other usual places.
We love you like a brother, Corey.
Yeah. And now it's time for Snipe Hunt.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a snipe hunt.
Snipe hunt. Hellhound.
Yes.
Yes. It's time for the paladin to go to the dogs.
Yeah.
Hey, Raggy.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed. But
Hellhound is on. I'm looking in the black second printing monstrous manual. It's on page 187.
Yes.
And monstrous manual. I don't know about the monstrous compendium. We're talking about some lawful evil, bad juju guys here.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially since they run in a pack.
Yes.
And this is another one of those encounters where you have to pay attention to the text, not just the block up on top, because the block up on top has that little pack and their number appearing, which is 2 to 8. Then they have a specific mention in the text about the number appearing when you find them in packs in hell, in the abyss, in those lower planes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Big difference.
Huge. Yeah, 2 to 40. Good luck with that.
Yeah, these guys look like kind of like cousins to the Hounds of Tindalos. Only they don't come through in corners. Yeah, and they're smart.
Yeah.
Actually, it says intelligence low, 5 to 7.
But yeah,
I'd say a little slightly better than dog intelligence, which makes them pretty smart for an animal.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
And they breathe fire. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, not only do they breathe fire, but they also come in varying sizes.
Yes.
Ranging in hit dice. Yes, from 4 to 7.
I like it says here they can be domesticated if raised from puppies.
Yeah.
But there's a 10% chance each year that they will go wild.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so...
Another very useful bit about them is their ability to detect hidden or invisible creatures 50% of the time.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, if they're going to have them as a dog, as a pet or something like that, you want that.
Yeah. Most evil wizards, evil archmages and stuff, they would have a couple. At least a few. I mean, not only are they, pretty strong combatants, but they also are really stealthy. I mean...
And in general, the reason that you have them roaming loose in small packs on the prime material plane is because these things usually appear on the prime because they've been summoned. But when they're done being summoned, they don't just gate away.
Yeah,
they run away.
Yeah.
They go off and do their own thing.
Yep.
Okay, we're talking 2d4 on the prime material.
Yes.
On a lower plane, we're talking 2d20.
Yes, 2 to 40. Yep. Yeah. And if you don't have some fire resistance going, you're going to have a very bad day.
You probably want to fireproof your lair. The wooden palisade of those giants would not be the place to find these.
Yeah. Agreed.
And their territory where they hunt, we're talking 1d10 plus 4 square miles.
Yep.
Centered on their den.
Yep. So you
Which
can
has
just
a 5% chance to have puppies.
Yeah. And there's and the pack territories may overlap. Oh, would you like to get in the middle of that?
No.
two fighting packs of hellhounds. Yeah. Okay, fine.
I mean, this is one of the better or worse, depending on, which side of the screen you're on. One of the best.
I pulled a TPK with a pack of hellhounds.
You did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's possible.
I don't take pride in it, but it's easily doable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, it all depends on whether you use true pack tactics or not.
Of course I do.
Well, that's probably the reason why you got TPK, because basically what they do, they focus on one person until it's down, and then they move on to the next one. If they
Actually, in the text, they talk about them using those Velociraptor tactics, where they distract and have you get flanked.
Yep.
And get taken down from the offside.
Yep.
Yeah. Now here's something. It says here, it doesn't give you stats, but or statistics. The baying sounds make an eerie, hollow tone that send a shiver through any who hear them. Now they don't have this as a special ability, but wouldn't that suggest like a fear check?
If you were in Ravenloft, I'd say sure. I mean,
just in Ravenloft?
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to be a bastard, sure. I mean,
if you tie them to your evil wizard lair where he's got his guards and wards in place, perhaps there as well. Things that would, if you had a nice, solid, resonant evil place that just emanated evil and empowered them easily, I would say yes.
Yeah, or an entire domain for that matter. That's why I said Ravenloft, because that's
also
what makes sense to me.
This would be something that if you're evil wizard or evil warrior or whoever who decided, I'm going to have me some hellhounds as wardens and pets and sentries and part of my retinue, and I'm going to invest in their training and bring them up from pups and magically endow and enhance them, it would be easier to enspell them with the ability to project fear because it's already there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because they're extra planar as it is.
That just makes your magical adjustments to them cheaper to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
I've used these as basically just pets for for fire giants. I bet if we went through the classic G2 module, the Halls of the Fire Giant King, I bet you'd find tons of these things in there. Because it only makes sense. I mean, they're beings that fire doesn't bother them at all. And that they would make perfect guardians and pets for or for larger beings such as fire giants.
On the plus side, if you take out a den of hellhounds, you know the treasure in there is going to survive any kind of fire you run into from that then point on.
I would say so.
You won't find any scrolls.
Definitely have the material components for making yourself some cloaks of fire resistance.
That's true. That's true. I was looking at the combat here, and they breathe on you, then they attack with the claw bite. But if they do a natural 20, they will bite, hold on, and breathe.
Yep.
Oh, that is nasty.
Yeah.
Yes.
That gets people all the time.
Yep.
And when you tie that in, if you happen to be using any kind of other crit system, whether it's good hit, bad misses, or you're using the Paizo critical hit deck, or you've decided to get really vicious and you rolled out your Chaosium or ICE, Rollmaster crit tables.
Yeah, I've seen those tables.
Or Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Yeah, those crit tables are absolutely vicious. I mean, I think they make like good hits, bad misses look kind of tame by comparison.
And you could always dip into your Hackmaster tables.
God.
All I have to do is pull out the Game Master shield, and I'm set.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, Hackmaster itself. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, this is one bad mojo here. You've used him in your games, of course. I know Full On has. He's admitted as such.
Yeah, I have. This is one of the, like we talked about Displacer Beasts a couple of episodes back. Yeah, I use these commonly because you can find them literally anywhere.
True.
And because they have such a wide area from their den that they roam, to hunt and do other things, it perfectly justifies a random encounter.
This is the one creature you do not want to call in a summon spell.
Well, yeah, exactly, because
I mean, I'm talking
just
about
take off on you.
Yeah, the average, if you play it the way where a lot of people play is they summon the creature, they attack for you, and they go away if you kill them or it's over. But if you're playing it where like you summon them, they attack, the battle's over, and they run away or stick around, you got a problem.
Yeah, a monster summoning spell.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's how they get introduced to these worlds, I'll bet.
Yeah, getting summoned like that, or summon extra planar creature, or whatever that spell name is. Yeah.
Or the other really interesting thing of when you actually play demons and devils to the hilt with all their innate abilities, the ones that start taking a moment out of combat to summon planar allies, they summon lower planar creatures up. One could pull up one of those 2d20 packs of hellhounds on the front and cut them loose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it has no wish or desire to control them. It just says, go forth and be playful, puppies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they see a whole bunch of fun happening right there, and they want to join in. Sure.
All right, let's talk about interesting tactics and how we could change this.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about breathing fire because they already do that.
Right.
I'm thinking of something like the Sons of Cerebus, one with like 3 heads.
Can you?
They have the 2-headed ones. They already have the 2-headed ones.
They
Devil
have the
dogs.
2-headed ones? Oh, Devil Dogs?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Okay. Well, there's half my work done for me right there.
You could always take a note from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And then she turned into a dog.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, that would be bad.
Oh,
can you imagine that?
The Keymaster, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they both turn into hellhounds, and you can't kill them.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So she's a dog.
Best line in the movie.
Yeah, but yeah, and like I said, they have animal cunning. They have animal intelligence, which I was surprised because I thought they'd have their intelligence kind of higher.
No,
Usually stuff like this.
It's better than that. It's low, 5 to 7. It's above animal intelligence.
Yeah.
They can speak. You only need a 3 to have speech.
Yep.
That's true.
They have up to a 7. There are player characters who have less than a 7 intelligence.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they speak.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Not very well. Yeah, not very well, but yeah, they speak.
Yeah, no, I think, a lot of them are of the Hulk smash variety, but
I'm sure they could be trained to speak if you wanted to actually.
But I don't think
get them. You'd probably just be speaking lower planar to them, but it's doable by the rules. They've got the intelligence for it. They may not have the vocal structure. You'd have to learn how to speak Hellhound, but they could be intelligent speakers to you.
Sure.
If you could decipher what dog speak is like.
Right. But I don't see them making plans, or they could make an animal ambush like you were talking about the Velociraptor tactics.
I'd say even more than that. They have more than animal intelligence. They would be the ones that would make, if you angered a pack, say you came in and you killed, the alpha male's pup or his prime bitch, then you would probably have him going off like, Lion King and his pack of hyenas, and they would start conversing and figure out a way to make your life miserable before they killed you and played with your giblets.
Yeah.
Sort of like, okay.
And being lawful evil, they would do it organized, they would do it vicious, and they would do it in depth and in detail, and they would definitely hold a grudge.
Sort of like that gorilla in Congo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Or the bear in The Edge.
Yep.
You bear using guerrilla tactics.
What was the name of that movie that had that bear who had been exposed to toxic wakes?
The Prophecy?
Yes. That
Oh, that was like, that put me off my dinner for a week.
Yeah, because he did not look good. No.
Yeah, but my first ex referred to him as the raw bear.
Yeah, he was not well done. I'll say that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they could do stuff like that, and probably take a party totally by surprise.
Yep, easily. I mean, when they ambush someone, they inflict a -5 penalty to your surprise roll. -5.
You only surprise them on 1 or 2.
Yeah. And that's part of their tactic. They'll take 2 of them. They'll ambush somebody, try to drive them towards the rest of the pack who's waiting in a circle, and as soon as they get them to where they want them to be, they all converge on them.
You know what? Do they work well with others?
Well,
oh yeah.
I mean, they're lawful evil.
Yeah.
Yes, that would make them work well with others.
Yeah. As long as you were strong enough to keep them in line.
I'm flashing back to a previous show and having them team up with harpies. In a ravine, having the pack drive them through that ravine where the nests are.
And then the harpies start flying in out of there and
they
start singing.
Flying in. Yep.
Okay.
Between the harpy singing and attacking everybody and then breathing fire on everybody, you've got a Holocaust going on.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be really nice and give your paladin a moral quandary to deal with, you could have them a pack of harpies and a pack of hellhounds at war with each other, and the trade route is suffering as a result.
Ooh, nice.
The paladin would take care of one, then he'd go after the other if he lived through it.
I know, but somebody in the party is going to think maybe we can get one to work on the other.
Oh,
yeah.
Do the old fistful of dollars thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Play them against each other.
Yeah. See, this is where...
Because the Hellhound's just smart enough to follow along with that. And I know the Harpies are smart enough.
No, they have equal intelligence, actually.
Okay, fine.
No, but what I'm saying is that I get what I get where he's going.
Yeah, I get where he's going too.
Yeah, but this is where the paladin... This is where having a paladin in the party would be something of a detriment. Because he would not want to work with, on any level, evil in under any circumstances.
What if he could do it? What if he could
do it?
Yeah, but a smart paladin like that would figure out how to do it indirectly.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is one of those lines that, a paladin really has to be careful about crossing, because you're not trying to destroy evil, you're consorting with evil to fight another evil. And then what happens once the harpies or the hellhounds get wiped out? Then the paladin has to take out the harpies because they're part of the problem too. And then now he's going back on whatever, now then you get what I'm saying.
Again, that's why it's a useful and interesting bit to try and shoehorn and force your paladin into having to start to make those Sophie's choices.
And if he's smart enough, he could do it through a third party or something like that, or find the moral high ground there to make it work.
Yeah,
there is some moral high ground there. He just have to find it, and that makes your player work.
Yeah,
that's good.
But at the same time, then now that's going into doing. That's more or less what a lawful evil person would do. Instead of dirtying his hands and doing it himself, he manipulates somebody else to do his dirty work. That's my
do it in the name of his god.
To deceive one evil into fighting another evil, and then or consorting with one of them. That's the problem with paladins. Once you willingly consort with evil, you lose your paladinhood right there on the spot.
No matter if it's through other parties or not.
Yeah, at least to me. I mean, to me, that's
I've run into other situations. I've had literally a paladin and an anti-paladin in a party together, with a monk standing between them, trying to keep them pointed in different directions, dealing with issues, because they were dealing with one of those big, massive, high-level, world-crushing threats that, okay, the anti-paladin doesn't want to die either. They really have a reason to work to stop this apocalypse from happening.
Mm-hmm. Well,
no matter what their personal preferences are to each other, they have a greater evil to face.
Well, that I agree. Now, that I agree with. When there is a bigger evil to be taken down, then that's like the only. To me, that's like the only reason why a paladin would work with another evil being and not lose his paladinhood. He still may have to atone afterwards.
Or maybe not, if his god recognizes the greater evil and orders him to work with the anti-paladin.
Yeah.
Here's a good one.
Go ahead.
The paladin has to infiltrate an evil lair, and they come up with the idea of, we're going to polymorph into hellhounds, or shape change, whichever's the better spell for the effect, to use the pack to infiltrate the evil compound, evil lair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is sounding like? That TV show Wise Guy.
Yeah.
To infiltrate the mafia, yet not kill anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically. Hey, I love that show. That show was cool. But yeah, I agree.
That's the situation. Okay, I'm going to play a hellhound, but I can't do anything bad.
You see, this is one of the reasons why I tried to.
You can't do bad things to bad people.
Well, yeah, but my whole thing is this is where I start getting headaches, because I strive really not to put my players in those kind of positions where they have to make, where they have to take the choice that sucks the least,
But that's the whole point of playing it.
No, it's not.
Playing a paladin, I mean.
Well, yeah, playing a paladin is go out and beat the bad guys.
and get into your occasional moral quandary, which will happen.
Okay.
I said occasional.
If you don't exercise atoning every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying I'm only doing it I'm saying you do it for entertainment's sake, not to make a point.
Well, yeah, but okay. I'll agree to disagree on this one.
I'm the last person to be lecturing on, moral stances and political stuff. But if it makes a good story.
Yeah. I see. I take your point. It's just as a DM, I try to avoid it because,
Well, I do too. But once in a while it works. So anyway, Hellhound. You guys got any Hellhound stories? Tell us about it. THACOshammer@gmail.com. You can tell us how crazy we are too. So, and how full of it I am, or full on, or Brian is. I'm sure there's people who think all those ways.
I'm pretty sure of that.
And those people who want us to get on with it. And we will right now. We're going to DM's Rag.
Well, that's quite a story.
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
And here it comes, right over the old plate.
The DM's Rag.
DM's Rag. Okay, the main event, the featured module, A Paladin in Hell by Monty Cook.
Yep.
TSR 9586.
That's right. Released in 1998.
Yep.
And we have the authors, Monty Cook. The editor was Steve Winter. So it's got a pedigree.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
This entire module was built off of the classic Paladin in Hell picture in the first edition handbook.
And I actually had to go grab my first edition handbook because I'd never seen the picture.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Now, Emrakul, the Chaotic, is in here too. I seen that picture.
Yeah, that's in the DMG actually.
Yeah, but I missed this one for some reason.
Wow, I'm in shock. Because I remember when I had my first edition books, I colored that with marker.
You didn't?
Yes, I did. I didn't care. They were my
do that
books
all the time.
Yeah,
that's what I do to I did that. I've done things like that in my Dungeoneers and Wilderness Survival Guides and all my old, basic D&D books as well.
Yeah, the Dungeon Master's Guide that I've had since 1982. You've got that thing has coloring.
That's
and
right. I tried.
Altering.
I have to say I did try once, and I learned you do not use regular markers.
Yeah, well,
You use like colored pencils.
Well, you're supposed to, but I didn't care.
Yeah. Anyway, Paladin in Hell.
Yes.
Okay, basic premise is just like it says in the package.
Yep.
A Paladin in Hell.
Yep.
What happened is you are charged with finding what happened to a church that disappeared into one of the levels of the abyss, hell.
Yep, into hell.
Because apparently this one paladin who had died in battle, stopping the big bad demon, the demon decided, no, he's not going to get an afterlife. I'm going to take him I'm not going to let him go to his reward. I'm going to take him straight to hell. I'm also going to take the whole church that his funeral is in and all the mourners and guests that went to the funeral.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to hell.
Your job to go get the church back.
Outstanding. Is this the kind of adventure I would take as my second one right after doing B1?
No.
Oh, hell no.
We're talking with just me, the thief, and the cleric and the fighter.
No.
I would roll up a special for this one. 15th to 20th level.
Yeah.
4 to 6 characters, also known as expect a body count.
Yes.
And you better have a buttload of magic items.
Yeah, and you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Powerful magic items.
Yep.
Powerful, because they ain't going to be so powerful where you going.
Yep. Not unless you get that nice little spell that the church has.
Yeah. And that only works on one thing per person.
Yep. Yeah.
Depending on how brave you are.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it on more than one, but then you have a 10% chance of like the other one blowing up.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
you increase 10% on each one you put on.
Yeah.
I'm willing to push a 50.
I'll go as far as probably 40 if I'm feeling lucky. 30 is where I would probably stop, but I'd probably push to 40 if I was really feeling lucky. Well, do you, punk?
You're the kind of person who takes 4 cards from a deck of many things, aren't you?
Yes.
No, I'll take 3. It all depends on my character's alignment.
Anything more than 0 is suicidal. Come on.
So we're assuming.
You know what? If I'm playing a wild mage, I'll take more than one.
Guys.
Sorry.
Module.
Sorry.
Assuming your players decide to do this.
Yeah.
They are charged with going find Emrakul the Chaotic.
Yep.
Who is another iconic character from the first edition.
I forgot who among the classic creators played him. I forget.
I don't know.
Yeah. I want to say it's Gary, but I'm not sure. I know it's either Gary or like 2 or 3 other people. I'll have to find
Everybody thinks he's dead, but he's not really dead. He just exists in the middle of this magical maelstrom off the cliff on a coast.
Yep.
On the sea, by the sea.
Yep.
First thing you have to do is get in there to see him.
Yep.
Not easy. Might get hit with flying metal. I mean, we're talking about you're trying to walk into the eye of a tornado or hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's blowing a bunch of little pieces of metal around. Yes.
Not so little pieces too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got to get beyond this, and then you finally get to him. He says, "Okay, I'll help you out because he was a friend of mine. We adventured together, and he was a great friend, and I will miss him. So you take this ship I have that's manned by demons, and that will take you to the plane of hell along the Sturgeon Deep, in the Sturgeon Deep, and you go from there."
See, that's already going to be your first problem if you have a paladin in the party because you have evil guys rowing your boat.
Yep, but it's not evil intent.
Let me tell you, getting there. They say getting there is half the fun. No, it ain't.
No, not in this case. No.
You walk on the gangplank. You go in there. You don't. At first I started reading. I go, oh, well, okay. We'll just go. We'll have a nice. I figure we have a nice sea voyage. Maybe some supernatural sea monsters attack or something on top decks.
Nope.
No, you walk in. You don't get to the deck, the top deck.
Yep.
You go below decks and got to work, and I mean work your way up to the deck, and that's just to get out of the ship.
Yep.
Because guess what? This ship's captain is a higher-ranking demon, and the ship itself is an entire plane of the abyss polymorphed into a ship.
That's wow.
That's the awesome thing you can do with epic magic.
Yes. Yes, very much so. That's just that alone. Just the fact that this ship is a piece of the abyss put on the prime plane, transformed into a ship and put on the prime plane. That's freaking genius. I love this. I mean, oh my God.
And I heard you complaining about the map of the ship's decks before when it was a real ship. What are you going to do with this one?
Yes. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, take that, Mike.
Let's not play that.
Oh, come on.
But they're talking about stuff like if you try and dig down through, if you're in the below decks, you try and dig down to the bottom, or maybe make a hole and stuff. You just keep going.
Yep.
Dirt and dirt and dirt and dirt. It's like you're digging a hole in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a plane.
Yep. Yeah. There's no end to it.
Yes.
It's a piece of it. It's a piece of an infinite plane. What are you going to do?
Anyway, they got it. So
yeah.
So your first instance is to work your way up to the top of the deck so you can get off the ship when you need to.
Right.
And like any good plane or TARDIS or any kind of sci-fi fantasy stuff, it is bigger on the inside than on the outside.
Dimensionally transcendental, yes.
Because it's a plane.
Yep.
You have to fight your way to the tower below decks to fight or whatever the demon who is the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Because Emrakul owns the ship, but he wants the ship. He wants the ship because he's already made plans. He's already made pacts with other demon factions to help them in their war. They're having another war down there, of course.
The war never ends, really.
Yeah, there's some Githyanki down there talking to him, making deals and such.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with him. And you haven't even got to hell yet.
Yeah.
That's about where I left off.
You just couldn't quite wrap your head around that.
I mean, I spent 2 days reading this module, and by the time I got to the tower, I went, "That's it! They're dead. They're dead."
Oh my god. No, you want to know what? There's a room in here where there are a bunch of Alufiends trying to create a sphere of annihilation.
That's right. That's something else.
Oh my
That's
god.
not even talking about the crew. The crew itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of it, they're all invisible.
30 spectral trolls, 3 skeleton warriors, and a Glabrazu demon as captain.
The captain, yep.
Yeah. And they spent 99% of their time invisible.
Yep. So you don't know where they
are.
Why
wouldn't you? Demons can.
Yep.
That's true. Why are they invisible? Because they can.
Yep.
So anyway, that's the ship. When you get off the ship, Brian, what happens?
Oh,
wait. Go.
What?
You forgot one thing.
What?
It's a ship.
Yes.
When you're using the ship to get into the piece of hell you're going to, where are you traveling? On?
The river Styx.
That's right.
Which is
don't
a threat
fall overboard no matter what you do.
That's right.
And of course, the demons, that's probably going to be one of their favorite little tactics if you ever make it up to the deck. They're just going to grab your sorry ass and they're going to toss your ass overboard. And if you land in the river Styx, you forget everything that you knew about your character.
Yes. The longer you spend in there. And it also says don't drink it.
Nope.
The waters of forgetfulness.
They even tempt the DM to use an encounter with a night hag.
Oh,
yeah.
Just to let you know what's in store for you.
And that's just to give you information.
Wow. This is just...
Go talk to the nice lady over there, would you?
You even have to go up against some Sahaugen.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It just gets worse.
Did you guys make it to hell?
No. I got to Citadel Cold Steel. That's as far as I got. Because I'm just like, yeah, this is just so crazy. This has to be, with the exception of maybe Baba Yaga's Hut, this has to be the deadliest high-level module for a 2nd edition, bar none.
Well, I got to tell you, they pulled out all the stops on this one to make it a real homage to that and do that picture proud, or just to have a really good time. To me, this is the 2nd edition version of Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah, with a lot more combat involved.
Yeah.
Because Tomb of Horrors only had like maybe 3 fights. Maybe 3.
4 if you include a party member.
Yeah. One who gets mad because he put on the girdle of femininity or masculinity.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what? Here's my final analysis on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know I didn't get through it, and I'll confess right now. Full on, did you have any luck with this?
I haven't run it. I've skimmed it. I haven't read the whole thing. Of course, it's going to feel a touch railroady because you got to go here to do this, go here to do this, go here to do this, go here to do this. But all the things you get to do on the way are all kinds of excellence.
Yeah, that's the thing. We gotta have a segment sometime to discuss the nature of railroading.
Okay.
Because it cannot always be bad.
You know,
if it's scenic, if it's interesting, you have like the dining car where you get to choose a couple things a la carte along the trip. It's spectacular.
Yeah, because I've been realizing something about reviewing modules in here and in Save or Die.
Yeah.
That it seems like practically every module we've reviewed has just at least a drop of railroad in it.
At least a little.
Otherwise, you can't start the damn what?
If you have an adventure where you have written a first page and a last page, you have a railroad because you have to start here and you end there.
Every module I've written is a railroad. You know, I'm sorry. Once you start an adventure, you are on a set of tracks. Now,
we may have talked about this before. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say, you know what? Let's table this. As a matter of fact, under which segment will we put this? Because I'm going to put this in right now.
Probably Rule 0.
Done.
Because basically it's what is a sandbox? What is a railroad? Is there a true sandbox? Is railroad necessary or not? Anyway, that's for another time.
I'm putting it in as we speak.
Here, there is some railroad in there. Otherwise, how the hell do you start it? How the hell, you got to point them in a direction.
Yes.
But at the same time, I would go out of my way to make a high-level character for this. I would not work up a character, from first to do this as like the climax. No, I would make up a character for this.
That's highly recommended for this. In fact, they even go so far as to tell you, one of your characters really should be a specialty priest of Nihad.
Yes.
Just to gain some
church
just to gain some leverage into this module.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, you could be very boned in later events.
Agreed.
But at the same time, this thing scares the living crap out of me as a player. This thing is like you could be screwed 6 ways to Sunday on this.
Within the first hour.
I would love to play in this. At the same time, because it is so rich. Yes, you're getting attacked from 3 directions on most battles, but at the same time, this is a cool ship. Wow, look, a level of hell and and all the demons. And not dull. It is not dull.
No, far from it.
Well, look at it this way. When they talk about this adventure, the first time they play tested it, they gave the playtesters 1,800,000 experience just to create characters.
And it wasn't enough.
Too low.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
They went to 2,250,000 XP to build your quality character to have a survival rate.
Oh my god.
And recommend 50,000 XP worth of magical items.
50,000 sounds a little light when you think about it.
If you're smart, you're going to cash that into like 1 or 2 +4 quality weapons or more, maybe a +5.
Yeah.
To cut down on the need for that special native plane spell.
Right.
And you know what? I could make a whole nice adventure just out of sailing on the ship.
Yeah.
Get to that minute of that hurricane and taking off on the ship. That's a whole evening right there.
Well, because from the start, Miracall is going to screw the party. He's going to screw them and screw them hard.
Because you got
2 adventures just to get to Miracall.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to screw the party, but you got to remember he's called Miracall the Chaotic for a reason.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's a chaotic thing. He's
not screwing him on purpose. He's chaotic.
Yeah. No, he is screwing them on purpose. But yeah, Tales of the Demon Wing, sure. Imagine what happens if somehow, some way, even though I can't see it happening. What happens if the party takes it over?
Good question.
I honestly couldn't see it happening. But
Miracall's been trying to get rid of this ship. That's the ironic thing about it. The demon's trying to fight to get it, but the mage has been trying to get rid of it.
Jesus.
And I think he's trying to pass it on to the player characters instead. Why? He's chaotic.
Yeah, no other reason, I guess.
That's the only motivation you're going to get with him. Anyway, I want to give this thing a rating. I'm going to call it prepped with the character in hand and the 2 backpacks and a mule full of magic items. I'd say 4.
Okay. Yeah, 4 is fine.
I can see 4.
Yeah,
4 is good,
fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, so
even though you and I, Glenn, we couldn't quite get through it because we were just getting constantly
I was overwhelmed.
Yeah,
especially
that's
sitting here reading it on a PDF, especially.
Yeah. I mean, now with me, I think the biggest extra player adventure that I've ever been in is, of course, Queen of the Demon Web Pits, and that wasn't quite as I shudder to even use the phrase, but that wasn't quite as in your face as this module is.
Oh, it is. Oh, my goodness, it is.
I mean, just from the start, it's like, at least with Queen of Demon Web Pits, you kind of work up to it. You kind of gets into it a little bit from the start. From the second you get on the Demon Wing in this adventure, you're on a ride. You're going for a ride.
Yes. Yeah, roller coaster.
Yes.
And we didn't even mention the fact of what happens to your magic stuff and other things I'm not even talking about in hell, in the level of hell. On the ship.
On the ship.
It starts on the ship.
Yes, it
because
does.
It's
the ship is a plane.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, you've always heard like, lower planar, they're going to take away. It's kind of like Ravenloft. You lose this, you lose that. Oh, you have no idea.
No, going down the lower planes.
That's why you need +5 or better.
Yep.
To take with you, because you are going to lose those pluses fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Your only other recourse, if you're not going to be playing really uber high levels with just racks and racks of magic items or custom building characters for this, is to try to augment this by running Planescape. If you made Planescape characters for this, you could get really insane.
Yeah, that's one of the that's kind of one of the reasons why I shy away from Planescape, because it's all that in a bag of chips, and I don't exactly mean that in a good way.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
but we digress.
Yeah, the average is 4. Check it out; it's still out there. Like I said, I run into it every once in a while in half price. Mm-hmm. I don't know about eBay. Probably average price. What did this thing run originally?
The original like list price. Let me find out real quick.
$13.95.
Yep. Yeah.
So you'll find anything from maybe 10 to what, 15?
I'd probably say about 15 to 20 maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing about stuff coming to the end, for some reason, coming to the end of second edition, is that they didn't put out quite as much as the previous stuff.
So, if you're looking for a second edition meat grinder, here you go.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and tell us about if you've run this,
if you even have it.
We want to hear stories. We do, this one especially.
Yes, please tell us what you think.
Yes, and I want to hear reminiscences. I want to hear about, even if it's TPK all the time. Who knows? Maybe there might be a party that finished it out there. Who knows? Yeah, THACOshammer@gmail.com, especially over at osrgaming.org and all those other places. Well,
D20 Radio.
D20 Radio.
Yes.
And I'm exhausted. We're at the end of another one.
Yeah.
Well, you should see how I'm pacing back and forth, working myself up over this thing.
I'm just glad I have the AC on, because I'd be dripping sweat right now.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to go get out of here and take a pill or something.
We need to kind of recover so we can come back with Splatbook 24.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Fola, you want to say bye-bye?
Well, for the rest of Gamer Nation, I'm glad to join the crew on THACO's Hammer.
I'm
here to help you bring the hammer down. Let's go play Speedbag on the Taras Nargles.
Or drop kick that giant Nard.
He's sailing away on the Demon Wing right now. Brian, you want to say Bob? You want to say goodbye?
Until next time, farewell.
All right. Hope you stay off the Demon Wing, folks. And I'm DM Glenn saying see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye.
Booyah.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at THACOsHammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at THACOsHammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.